Hi guys, welcome to day 26 of our 30 days of minimalism and mom life tips. We're on another how to lighten your mom life tip. This one is on lightening your virtual extracurriculars. So first off, what do I mean by virtual extracurriculars? Well, in this current season, you've likely shifted to some things online. Are you having Zoom meetings with friends, classes, online things for your kids, online things with your kids? Is your church still meeting online? What about your community groups? Are you trying to have Bible studies via Zoom? Are you trying to do meetings with your extended family on Zoom? Here's our family get-together, family catch-up time. What all have you added into your life right now that maybe used to be in person, right now it isn't, and that means a lot more computer class, computer meeting time. You didn't have to go out of the house to do it, but it was still a deadline to meet. Time you had to make sure no one else was using that device, and something else to schedule into your day that you didn't want to be late for. Okay, so we're thinking of those things. First off, what is bugging you with your current load? Think holistically, everything in your family, what everyone is doing. How many kids do you have? How many, online classes are they attending at what times of the day? Are some of them really inconvenient times for you? Is it difficult juggling how many kids need to be on computers and devices at the same time, while you may have something going on a computer device yourself that takes up your own attention? What is it? Is it the number of things? Is it the time of day of things? Or is it how many people are trying to do something at once and you're trying to juggle computer loads and attention, especially if anyone needs you for tech support, or you're supposed to be looking over their homework, or just sort of vetting what they're doing? What would make it better for you? Okay, so this is where we get to brainstorm, ground up what would be good for us, as opposed to just croaking about the bad stuff. We need to know what's bad, but we also need to come up with solutions. So what is your ideal? You have no problem with all your kids being on Zoom classes, but you would like them staggered half an hour apart so that you can get everyone set up online properly, instead of saying, shoot, you're supposed to be on at 1 o'clock, and you're supposed to be on at 1 o'clock, and you're supposed to be on, and you cannot get everyone on and settled, except you're going to have to choose which kid gets to be late to class every day. Who gets first tech help and who gets last? Okay, is that an issue? Is there any way that you can shift anyone's times? Obviously, if it's a school system, probably not. But if there's anything that's art lessons and extracurricular stuff like that, or just meeting with their friends, have they started doing Zooms and Skypes with their friends a lot now? Or the family members or the grandparents? It's perfectly normal, but you can also set it up the best way that would work for you. Okay, just because a lot of things are still virtual now doesn't mean you have lost your right to say, you know what? This is nap time, it doesn't work for us. If the kid's talking is going to wake the baby up because she can hear them talking and she hears the grandma's voice talking. Okay, just because you're home and the baby can technically sleep and it doesn't work for you. So what is your ideal amount of participation? Think times of the day. So now that you've got maybe more of the day to play with, is there anything you can put in an odd time of day? Like you have no objection if some kid has like an early breakfast time class, because you can handle one person while you're doing other stuff. Or on the flip side, do you really want to keep everything kind of in the compressed early morning, early afternoon school hours like it used to be as much as possible, because you need the downtime and you need to be not on call just, almost every part of the day. You need it compressed because you might have your own work to do. You may still be trying to work part-time yourself. What about that? Now, also, in between classes, maybe your kids have multiple different Zoom classes for things, quite likely. How much buffer time do your children need in between? And is the system currently set up to allow them to do so? This is where, if you have any leeway, use it hard. How much time does your kid even need to get the new set of homework or pencils or drawing stuff or books ready, to get their heads in the mindset of, oh, now we're going to do this? See, if you've got the really responsible go-getter kid, sure, they're totally fine with swapping out one set of books, plunking themselves right back down and saying, okay, next thing. But that's not most of them, okay? Especially if they're younger. They need a little bit of transition time, just like they would have in the regular class if they were at school. If you're homeschooling, you wouldn't just slap another subject down in front of them and expect your wiggly 5-year-old to be just fine, moving on to another thing. You want to give them a snack break, run over 3 times around the house break, something like that, or a reward for finishing a subject, whatever you've been doing. So yes, it may be virtual schooling, it may be a virtual extracurricular, a virtual meetup, but the same rules still apply. Yes, your friends will miss you, but you know what? If you haven't done your homework, You don't get to go on the computer and say, "Hi, I'm sorry, next time do your homework." Depending on what your rules are for family, is it more important to you that your child says hello to grandma? Or is it more important that they get their room cleaning done and they get to go to grandma's or they get to see grandma on Skype if they have cleaned their room? What is the value you most want to teach? So you want to bake that in there too. And then, of course, finally, as usual, mentally imagine dropping something. Would your life just run so much more smoothly if you could get rid of that one extracurricular that is really not doing anyone any favors right now? It's an awkward time of day. Your kids are not really sure if they want to do it or not. You're expending a lot of energy forcing them to try to do it, trying to pep them up and get them in the mood for it, cajoling them. It would be a lot better. Maybe it's just the time of day doesn't work. Maybe it's a really loud activity and it's right when you're at your lowest. You need some time, calm, recentering. You need a break. And that is when the most noisy group of friends gets on. Okay, well, then we need to have them talk with their friends and say, "I can't do it at this time anymore, and I really want to see you," and let them brainstorm. You don't have to be the mom that solves everything for them. If necessary, give them a few choices up front and say, "I have no objection to these times," or "do not do after 2 p.m., or "do not do after 8 o'clock at night," or something like that. And then let them toss around ideas. They're kids are smart. They'll come up with something. And then remember, you're still the parent. You still have veto power over all this. Unless, again, it's like a school board and a school policy. But these are for the optional things. Do you need to cut more than one thing? This is where you may have to prioritize. You need to see people, even if you're just getting together on Zoom dates with a bunch of people. You need your own, if you have a class that you have been taking personally because it really feeds you and you've been wanting to learn about it, okay, you need to prioritize that. Prioritize your kids' school. But if everything all at once is too much for you, too many plates spinning, then something has got to give. And again, you do not want that to be your sanity. So what is the least important right now? The thing that would be most okay with dropping and saying, "I can pick this up again in 3 months and it'll be okay." Is your class something that you can come back and watch the replay, not the live event, and do it at a convenient time of day? Maybe you could do that in the evening as kind of your self-care routine. Can you say, "I'm getting a little busy right now. Can we start meeting every other week with your girlfriends if you're kind of doing a virtual happy hour with them?" What about the family meetings? Are you in kind of that thing where you want to catch up on everyone else's business, but meeting every 3 days to chat has gotten to be really too much of a burden? It was fine during Christmas break, but it is not fine now when you're trying to get everyone back in the swing of school and try to gear everyone up for stuff. You need to say, "I'll be able to pop in once a week or once every other week as my schedule permits. Feel free to text me the details of everyone's highlights if anyone had some big news. But right now, I have got to conserve my energy for our family." What needs to happen for you? Okay. The biggest priority is your own mental health. And the second, of course, is meeting the obligations. So, the minimum schooling, or working from home, that sort of thing. And then you can put in, what is the next most important thing to you? Is the time with friends just lights you up and you have to have that because you aren't seeing them so much in person? Is it that one class, you're taking a painting class online and you really love getting to do that for yourself? Are you enjoying the kids Skype with grandma and it's just the most precious part of your week, watching them talk and interact with her on screen, how they remember her, how the little one is learning some words and has learned to say grandma's name, despite the fact that he hasn't seen grandma in person for months? What is it? You got to decide because you're in control of your life. So how are your virtual extracurriculars going? What change do you need to make to help them truly support your family for right now, this end part of winter? You can do something totally different in spring. Add things back in, drop things, totally rejigger. But what works for your family right now? That's what we want to figure out. All right, I will see you tomorrow for another How to Lighten Your Mom Life tip. As always, email me at hello@yourounbusylife.com if you've got some comments or questions, or if you have another topic you'd like me to cover. I'd be happy to make a video for you. Have a great day, guys.